I've built a few launch coasters before, each one getting more and more complex and easier to use.
So the next coaster model that I'm building uses a weight drop launch. This is similar to what the first Schwarzkopf shuttle loopers would have used, and it's exactly how it sounds. You just use a weight and drop it from somewhere high up, and it moves the cars forward. And I am using a weight drop launch because I don't really want to use rubber bands. They can be kind of unpredictable, and you don't really know how far you can stretch it until the rubber band breaks. And I need to get as much potential energy out of this launch as I can because it's going to be pretty big. And so I'm using almost all K'NEX pieces for this, except for some Gorilla Tape, some fishing wire, and of course a weight, and I still need some rubber bands.
To start, I built the same launching mechanism as my other cable launch.
So to attach my weight to the rest of my launching system, I have this wire that runs all the way up to here. So that's part of the pulley that I built around the floor joist up there. And that comes down. Then underneath the supports to the catch car. And then it continues all the way back to my cable drum.
It seems simple enough, but somehow the first launch test didn't work, for a number of reasons too. First being that there's too much stress in general. K'NEX aren't meant to hold so much weight. So I took most of the sand out of the bottle and rerouted the fishing wire to be more direct. After that it worked, kind of.
So even though the wire could hold 8 pounds, it started stretching way before that. So much so that with 2 or 3 pounds in the bottle, I could wind it up halfway and the bottle would still be on the ground. And so I couldn't think of anything that would be stronger than the fishing wire, but also be that low in friction. And so I ended up just braiding multiple strands of the fishing wire together. And it worked pretty well. I mean, it's still working. And I was able to just start adding more weight back into the bottle after that until the winch broke. So with all the extra stress that I was putting on it, these beige little clips that I was using to hold the gears and my cable drum onto the rod, they kept snapping off. And to fix that, I found that there's also these more squarish beige pieces that you can actually use to clip one of these beige clips to the other, because with the piece I'm using for the cable drum, it only has one hole in it for me to connect this to. Another thing I did, because that still had too much stress on it, was I wrapped both of the beige pieces with Gorilla Tape to try to hold both those legs together so it wouldn't pop off.
It was around this time that I redesigned the ratcheting part because of the increased weight. It wasn't releasing well. My new winch system has 4 gears, and most of it is underneath the track.
Alright, so I made this model to show you all how it works. So I got this gear right here, which can spin this way, but not backwards, because this orange little clip right here is locking into place with each one. And then because the angle it's on, it just doesn't allow it to go backwards. And with this orange clip, you want to make sure it's a broken piece, because when I pull this lever down to release it away from the gear, if that piece wasn't broken, it would get in the way of that gray piece right there. And then this system doesn't only work with red pieces, or red gears rather. I can also, if you don't have a red gear, use a yellow one, and that fits in just the same.
And then as soon as they got it working, shoot, the wire snapped. It was an easy fix though, because I had the video so I could see where it went wrong. And the solution was pretty easy. I just added a crate at the bottom so it wouldn't bounce up as high and fall over. So one last thing, when you are loading your catch car, one thing that I found has worked really well is if you actually have the string attached on the top of it instead of underneath. Because that way, when it comes all the way to the end and it tries to bounce back, it kind of gets caught underneath and then it won't bounce back and hit your other trains. As opposed to if you have the wire underneath, it can easily just slide right back out and get caught in your car. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below.